Hello, my name is Nelsonnator, and I'm here with my best friend,
I'm Paris George.
and this is Let's Play Mega Man Battle Network 6, Cybeast Gregor. The requests continue. This is request video number 3, and we've been invaded by Pumpkin, Parish's cat, who's here to make us all have a good time. Remind us of what love
We
truly
like
is.
the proceedings a little bit as opposed to all these menial chores that we have to do.
Yep. Oh, humans hanging out doing something else? Forget that. He should be hanging out with me.
So we've kind of run the gamut so far, from getting people swimming advice to finding their lost wallets to acting as an extra in a movie. So
Or even the lead.
The request board has a lot of variety to offer for the interested participant.
Yep, and now we're gonna make some money on the stock market. It's time for stonks, baby.
Hell yeah.
Remember the first time when we invested money in a failing factory? Well, it's time to come back.
So we've got Apple, Toyota, and Black Hole, which I don't, or
SpaceX?
yeah, I was gonna say now modern SpaceX. I'm trying to think of what that's referencing at the time.
I have no idea. Like,
I mean, they make parts for, things that are going into space. So, like, Lockheed Martin?
Northrop Grumman? I don't know. Because, like, part of what Northrop Grumman is like they supply stuff for the military-industrial complex, but they also supply stuff for, like, space travel and such, I think?
Mhm.
High-precision aerospace parts is, like... There's a lot of applications for that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, for some
either
reason the
way-
stock trader hangs out in the internet. We got on the undernet, and we gotta go to the bad side of town to go find him.
Either way, based on what I know about the real world companies that those things are mirroring, I'd recommend investing in papaya computers, quote unquote.
Yeah, they probably would be the greatest thing, but like the key tip off of which one you should like sign up for is based on the fact where she's just like, oh, I don't know, nobody knows what's gonna happen with this, which like. If you know anything about speculation in video games, you're just immediately like, so that's the one I need to put my money in. Alright.
Also, was that a Fire Sword Z you got there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem very useful.
Well, there's a couple good chips in the Z code, and like a lot of the top tier chips just sort of end up there as a semi-ultimate code kind of thing. Like Sanctuary's in the Z code. And you can get use out of Fire Sword in Gregor much more easily than you could if you were playing Falzer. So, like, Fire Sword Z is a choice that you could make if you're building a folder around it. Like, there's a Giga chip that's in the Z code in Gregor. So, it's something in the back of my mind that I think about. Just like, oh, I could get that Giga chip and build around it. So, like, having other value adds for it, especially since, like, Fire Sword sort of plays into what that Giga chip kind of wants? I don't know. So, you can make it work. It's just that, like, you can also have Mega Cannon that's 180 damage. Comes in the star code.
A couple of times about enemies that you miss from the older games. And we've talked about the Rush Virus and a couple of other goofy ones.
Yep.
I remembered the Dashies.
Yeah.
Because doesn't their chip commonly come in Z?
Yeah, the Dash chip came in Z in a couple of the early games, yep.
Yeah, I just really like the design. Like a combination between a fish and like a swallow kind of design.
Yep. And it's also funny how, like, at the beginning they're like, oh yeah, we're going to have, like, the regular dash, which is fine, and then the level 2, like, it lays a bunch of fire as it goes, so instead of giving the regular dash chip, they get the burner chip, which just sets everything about you on fire, which, like, it's not a good battle chip at all. You never want to use burner. But then they were like, okay, it's Battle Network 3, we need to raise the stakes. How can we do it? Alright, let's give them a super version of the dash attack. Alright, cool. What does it do? Well, on top of hitting the entire row for 180, on like the third or fourth square in front of you, it hits twice. Why does it hit twice there? It just does. Okay, well, what can we do about burner? What if, instead of burning, like, all the area around you, it was concentrated in front of you in a big plus shape? Alright, that's much better. So, like, Battle Network 3 was the last time those viruses showed up, and they gave them a good send-off. Like, they made their chips really good for that.
Well, yeah, now we've figured out how to make money off the stock market, and
Yep.
we're still doing these requests instead of just investing in stocks ourselves.
Yep. Well, we used other people's money to invest the stocks, and since they could just give us, like, 100,000 as part of our cut, you know, like, clearly they're investing millions of dollars or something, which, like, why did they leave it up to an 11-year-old? Up to a 12-year-old? Alright. We'll just pick some kid up off the street. Hey, kid, you want to buy some stocks for us? Okay.
I mean, I can't remember his name, but there's a cat that has been picking stocks. You know, they just, like, give him a toy, and whatever spot on the grid on the floor he throws the toy onto is, you know, his stock pick, quote unquote. And he's been doing better than market average at picking stocks.
Oh, you love to see it.
So, like, yeah, there's giving your money to, like, someone at a bank who may or may not be a fiduciary or acting in your best interests, and depending on, you know, how good the person you pick is, getting an extremely micromanaged stock portfolio may do no better than just putting your money into an index fund.
Yep.
Or you can bet all your money on what this cat picks and almost certainly do better than an index fund.
Yeah,
That's just...
it depends upon how much risk you're willing to take, and there's a lot of risk involved with the cat because, like, the cat doesn't know anything about the market. It's just throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. Like, you might as well be playing roulette yourself to figure out how this is going to work. This is also fun where it's just like, hey, it's going to... This update that's coming in, it's going to make me go really fast. And, like, we had something similar to this happen in Battle Network 3, where things ended in tragedy, so wonder what's going to happen this time. Also, this guy's like, hey, you want to see something cool? And here he is with, like, his scrub tier virus squad. Alright, let's see what you can do, Mr. Big Shot.
Yeah, I feel like Lan and Mega Man really should know better by this point.
Yep.
You know, about just installing data on random mystery progs just because someone told them to.
And-
Charge plus 1 for that?
Yep. Mega Man's basically threatening him, just like, you want to say that again, my dude? You want to say it's all a joke?
Yeah, even though the sprite doesn't show it, I have to imagine that he's just slowly lifting up his right arm, turning it into a buster.
Just starts, like, he never, like, put the Mega Buster away. He's just polishing it, pointing it in random directions. Just points it at the guy. Hey, dude, take a hit. Oh, it's just a joke, right? Like, it's just a joke when you spray those viruses on me. Also, hey, remember when I had, like, those quizzes earlier and I, like, looked up what the answers were? Not here. There's no virus encounters between this, so just like, alright, let's just have some fun. I read some of these kind of quickly, but then there are points where I'm like, I really ought to slow down, as with question 2 there, where I just stared at for a minute, and I'm like, what? Which of these is not at the aquarium? Well, it's a good thing we're at the aquarium. They can just wander off and check immediately if something goes wrong. How much do these viruses deal? I don't know. I don't get hit by them all that often. What question is this? I forgot. Elite Trivia. What question was it? I think it was question number 8. Oops. Good job, me. And then there's the point where I'm like, okay, I need to skip through these but not choose something, so I need to figure out a way to, like, get through these conversations. Oh, wait, if I just hold down the B button, it's just going to auto-advance the text, so maybe that's what I should be doing. Which of these has a net merchant? That was a much easier question than the last one. Also, here's the century BS that I never agree with because it's always really strange. Fine, 31st century. And we get Slip Runner. Slip Runner is an Navi customizer part where, like, if you press the B button, instead of, like, continuing to run, Mega Man will just kind of slide where he's going. So, in some ways...
We love using that program for
it's kind
large
of fun, but at the same time, like, I never really want to give space on the Navi customizer for it. So it's just like, yeah, let's have a little bit of fun every once in a while, but I really want that fast barrier. I really want auto recover. I love chip shuffle.
Yeah.
Yeah, Slip Runner can be useful and fun, but I always have other things slapped onto my Navi customizer instead of it. Also, the Mr. Prog was hanging out right there. We gave him the program that was wrong, intended for something else, and now he's... Oh, here he is. Oh, that's not good.
Wow, this is very reminiscent of what's happened in the past.
It really is. But we're able to get back in time to save all of our friends, so... Well, hopefully all of our friends. If not, the entire aquarium could start on fire, but I guess the good thing is, like, at least the water is right nearby to stop the fire.
Right. When you mentioned hating the century thing and having to figure out what century it is, that would have been solved if we just started counting from 0, as is standard in computer science usually.
As is standard in computer science, but was not...
I shouldn't say as is standard, like, that's standard in some applications, like I believe arrays start counting from 0 and things like that.
So, funny story, I picked up Persona 4 Golden recently, and one of the questions I threw at you in the first month is, what was the year that came before 1 AD? And the answer is 1 BC, because the Romans at the time didn't have the concept of 0 in play, so it's just like, here's 1 before, here's 1 after. That's how it works. I don't know how the Greeks sound like, but this is the voice. It's very bad impression.
So you said the Romans, and then I don't know how the Greeks.
The Greeks, man.
Romans and Greeks are different.
Very different. Very, very different. Like, the Pope is closer to Romans than the Greeks are.
Although I do like Eddie Izzard's bit about their religion and how they just appropriated the gods. He was like, because the Roman gods before that were crap. They had, like, Jeff, god of biscuits, and Simon, god of hairdos. And then, they came along and they conquered the Greeks. Like, thank God they've got some gods. Just slot those in.
Yep. What's the founding myth of Rome? Yeah, like, we had these two guys and they were weaned on a massive wolf. And that's where... We love wolves. That's what it is. Were Romans the first furries?
No. I mean, I'm trying to think of cultures that existed before then and had weird myths like that. Like, who knows what Japan was up to around that era.
This wolf is our mom.
Speaking of Remus, I do think it's great that, J.K. Rowling tried to name all the characters in Harry Potter something, meaningful or symbolic. So, like, Draco, he's named after the serpent constellation. This, devious little, conniving snake. And then you have Remus Lupin. Both of his names are, having to do with wolf. And I think his dad's name was also, like, basically the same thing. So yeah, he's just like Wolfie McWolf, son of Wolfie McWolf Sr., the werewolf. Just like, wow, you went really hard on that one, JK.
I wonder who could possibly be the werewolf. Anyway, thanks for coming by. Hope y'all have a nice day.
See ya.